Hello, welcome back to some Strat-O-Matic baseball. My last video, you saw me unbox the 2022 Strat set and talk a little bit about my issues and why I bought that. So what I've been working on, I'm not for sure if anybody will find this interesting but me, but I thought I would share nonetheless. And before I do, I would say I apologize to those of you who are looking for me to complete a project. It looks like my hobby is creating projects a bit more than finishing them, and that is something that I'm working on, and I will get back and continue to finish some things that I've been working on, but I guess I have um, project OCD anytime. Just constantly looking for new things. I think the problem is that every time I buy something, I feel like I've got to do something with it. And so again, the whole point's to have fun. And so if I have fun doing this, then that's what I'll do. And again, I share what I'm doing on my channel. So again, those who are looking for me to finish something, hang in there. But I apologize for the time being. So at any rate, what I've done, been working on, is taking the 2022 set and trying to make it more like I want baseball to be, how I feel like baseball should be, the way baseball used to be in the 60s through the 80s, as much as I can. So what I've done is I've created the National League, no American League, so there'll be no interleague play. So the Astros are in the National League. The Nationals, again, I talked about this a little bit before, so if you want to check out that video, but I'll go over it just a little bit here for those who didn't catch that video. To me, I always felt like the Nationals should have went to the American League instead of the Astros, because Houston's a National League town. When the Expos moved to Washington, Washington's an American League town, so that always made more sense to me. I know it may not have worked out as well geographically, but again, I would make changes that kind of keep baseball tied to its past as much as possible. So, no Nationals in this National League 2022. The Astros are here. No, and I needed an even number. No Brewers. Again, I never hated Milwaukee being in the National League just because the Milwaukee Braves were here so long. And to be honest with you, I would have liked to have kept the Brewers in the National League, just again because of that. But I needed an even number, and so because they were in the American League, and I had kind of got used to the Brewers being there, they are back in the American League. So I have 14 teams in the National League, and no interleague play. So I made just a few things. I made a schedule. So all this is not going to be as played. What I've done is another thing about Major League Baseball is that there's 60, 70 players per team. I've cut every team down to around 30, so it's not exact. Every team is a little different. Usually if they have 200 at bats, I tried to get them in, but got every team down to around 30. So there's 5 starters and 6 relievers per team active at any one time. And again, there's only 30 total, so obviously I'm doing injuries. So as injuries come along, we'll move some people up and down. I might even, depending on if I get a big enough injury, I might take somebody from that's not even on that 30 roster. And again, that's not an exact number, but maybe bring somebody up, especially a catcher, because every team has to have at least 2 catchers. So basically, they're going to get more at bats than they did in real life. I'm also playing everything myself with cards and dice. It was because of some of the changes I made. I can't do any autoplay because the autoplay would do what like for example, every starting pitcher gets 2 increase on their fatigue inning. So if they're 6, on the card, they'll get 8. Every reliever gets 1 more. So if they're a 1, they'll get 2. And so that's kind of how I'm doing the pitcher fatigue, and then using the pitching staff, kind of like they would, probably more like the 60s, but a kind of a hybrid 60s, 70s, and 80s. Because I'd have to go in and change everybody on the computer, that number, I just didn't want to do that. And again, one point of doing this was to get more familiar with 2022 modern baseball, the players, and things like that. And so this is obviously one way to do it, play every game. So I've played about 4 games, just kind of scrimmage. So we have today, I'm kind of rambling, so I apologize. I'm trying to get everything covered. So again, hope this is interesting. Opening day is in Cincinnati, like it's supposed to be. The Rockies are in town. Again, I don't know if I said this, the schedule is 156 games. So that's playing every team, I think 12 times in the league. So it's just a round schedule. Again, because there are no divisions, everybody's in the National League. You're playing everybody 12 times. I got 65% of the games are day games, kind of like the good old days. That's probably a little bit more back to the 40s, 50s, and 60s. But today is a day game, and so more day games. As far as players who were traded, as much as I can catch it, because I'm having to go in and fix these rosters, whichever team they played on the most is where they end up at. And then I try to use, if I can get it, the card, their accumulative card for the year. Again, when they played in the American League and the National League, they don't have every card in that situation. Like Luis Castillo, he is going to be with the Reds all year. He was traded to Seattle last year, so I was able to find his accumulative card. So again, some of these teams who had good players and dump them at the end of the year, that won't happen in my replay. And again, who knows how far I'll get with this? But it was fun, kind of coming up with it. It kind of feels, again, I've been so frustrated with modern baseball. Playing how I want to play, how I think it should be played, has actually been kind of therapeutic, to be honest. And so, I'll play it as long as I enjoy it, and we'll see how we go. So, 156 games. The playoffs are going to be, how I figured it out, is the 3rd and 4th team. Again, everybody's in one division. We'll have a 1-game playoff. The winner of that gets to play team number 2 in a 7-game series. Obviously, with the second best team having the home field advantage, the winner of that will play the number 1 team in a 9-game. I always felt like baseball, 7 games is kind of tough. So, I'm giving the team that wins the National League pennant, giving them every chance to win the whole thing. And so, again, with that many teams, make it a little interesting by getting some more in the playoffs, but making it really hard for those who didn't win it to get, to win the playoffs. So, and I might play, whoever, I might play like an American League World Series once I get through that. Just to see, how that would go. I probably would pick the best team in the American League, which is no longer the Astros because they're in the National League. So I have to figure that out. But this is just finishing this league. So that's how I'm going to do the playoffs. So I'm not doing DH. And so how I'm doing, there's 6 player pitching cards. And basically, I've got a 20-sided die, and so this isn't exact science. Every game I roll again, so a pitcher can have a different hitting card, but it'll kind of give me a representation of what they did. Kind of like pitchers hitting, because it can be up and down. So anyway, on a 20-sided, 1 to 9 is the 1 card, which is the worst. 10 to 12 is a 2. 13 to 14 is a 3. 15 to 16 is a 4. 17 to 18 is a 5, and 19 to 20 is a 6. And so that's how I'm figuring out which pitcher hitting card to use. And again, I know it's not terribly scientific, but it's kind of easy, and then it gets me in the ballpark. So for Castilla, the Reds pitcher, he gets a 17, so he's going to have the 5 hitting card today. So he's going to be good. And then I'm sure I'm again, not knowing the players like I do in seasons in the past, I don't know. I'm probably going to butcher their names. For the Rockies, it's spelled German Marquez, and I'm sure it's Herman, perhaps. We'll go with Herman. That sounds closer. Marquez. We'll see what he is going to be hitting today. Oh, he's a 1, so he's going to have the number 1 card. Again, and most of the time that's what they're going to end up with. And when I'm playing, the past seasons, that seems to be pretty close, And again, just not having the DH. Now, not having the DH, teams like the Rockies with Blackman, the Cardinals with Albert Pujols, those guys, having to figure out what to do because, again, they had to figure it out because we don't have National League. This National League does not have the DH. So, again, feels kind of therapeutic. So, basically, that's what I got going. So, if I think of anything else as I go along, like I said, we'll play this game. I'm not keeping score in this league just to see if I can get through things quicker. Just trying something different. I generally love to keep score. But in this particular, I'm not keeping score, so that helps it go to a little faster. So we got Luis Castillo on the hill. Again, he will be with the Reds all year long because he was with them the most last year. Leading off will be Charlie Blackmon. So, again, he DH'd a lot, but he's in right field today. Leading off. Okay, let me pause this just a second. Trying to get the best picture I can, so I'm not for sure if I got there or not. But so obviously with me doing both teams, I'm doing everything, by hand. So I got my charts out here. So I'm having to, again, relearn the rules a little bit. I use the computer so much. I'm still trying to get to where that I can remember everything I'm supposed to. So if I forget something, like most of my videos, if you see something that I'm missing, let me know, and we'll go with that. So Castillo, and one thing you have to remember is the pitcher injuries. So Castilla and Marquez both are minus or 1, so that means we have to check their injury on 6/12. And of course the hitters, they have their injuries on the cards. So we will. I am using the computer to enter the stats. Again, so we got a good day here at Great American Ballpark, which is a hitter's park. So you can see there 1 to 12 for a single, 1 to 20 for a homer for both teams. So Blackmon, left-handed hitter, Castillo, right-handed pitcher, steps into the batter's box, and the 2020 Replay Gamer National League is underway. All right, so a 2-8 versus a righty. 1 to 15 is a single, and he'll start off with a single. So one thing I'll say about Strat is that when you are entering the stats in by hand, the keyboard shortcuts are very good, and so once you get a flow going and know what they are, you're able to make some hay, which I appreciate. All right, so Blackmon, he doesn't automatically get a lead, but we'll hold him on nonetheless. If he does get a lead, however, he's got a good chance. Castillo's got a +1 hold rating. Stevenson has a 0 arm. So we'll see if he gets a lead. Now, when you roll for a lead, you have to roll the 20. If you get a 1 or 2, there might be an error or something like that. But at 8, he's not going to get a lead. So another thing I've done is that everybody's bunt and their hit and run is 1 higher than they were in real life. So again, to kind of imitate a little bit more small ball. So for example, that would make Blackmon a B. And then Jonathan, is it Jonathan Daza? He would be a B hit and run. So again, just to kind of make it a little bit. Now, the one thing I haven't figured out what to do is the strikeout. So quite a few strikeouts. And so I really haven't figured out what to do with that. So again, with everything else that I'm able to change, not feeling too bad about that. So anyway, they're holding Blackman on. Double play depth. So that would make him a C bunter. But he's a pretty good hitter, so we're going to let him hit away here. Castillo looks into the sign from Stevenson, 6'9". That's a shortstop X. Farmer is a 312. So he gets an 18, and that's a G1, a 12 with a 9. And that's going to be a 6-4-3 double play. So nice defensive job by Farmer there. So out. 6-4-3. So quickly, there's 2 away here as Daza, and again, if I'm sure I'm butchering these names, I apologize. Grounds out into double play. So C.J. Crone will come on next, the first baseman. Looks like he's a pretty good player. So I will say I am learning the league. Most of these players I had no idea, so that's kind of fun always to learn something new. 6-8, and that's lofted out to Senzel in center. That'll do it for the Rockies in the first. All right, leading off for the Reds will be Friedel, I'm assuming. Again, we'll go with Herman Marquez as pitching. He was 9-13 with a 4.95 ERA, which in Denver isn't too bad. Sure looks good. Okay, so he's a right-handed. Friedel's a lefty. Now the Reds, they had so many players that played. There's going to be quite a few that's going to get more at bats this year. So Friedel leads off 1-6 versus a righty, and that's going to be a triple. So how about that? Friedel pulls it over Cron's head at first, and it gets a bad hop in the corner. Blackman, who's not a great fielder, doesn't play it terribly well. And Friedel will slide into third with a triple. Just missed a homer. 1-10 would have been a bomb on that one. All right, so the Rockies are going to play the infield back. They're going to concede the run here this early in the game. So I'm fixing my the players on the field. They don't come out of the box where I like them. So, all right, so that brings up Jonathan India, second baseman, extraordinaire. So again, the Rockies playing back. Friedel at third runs at a 14. That's a 4-4. That's a shortstop X. And Iglesias is a 3-12 out there. So he gets a 15-3. That's a G1, an 8 with a 12 E rating. And he makes the play, but Friedel will score on it. So he will score 2 S's, 6-3, and the Reds are up 1-0. So with 1 out, that brings up Brandon Drury. Again, he was one of those that I don't remember where he ended up, but he started with the Reds and he played most of his season with them, so he will be with them this year. Let's see, he ended up in San Diego. Looks like he's with Los Angeles now. Yeah, that's another thing about modern baseball that I'm not crazy about is they just switch teams so much. It's kind of hard to get invested in the players when they just constantly keep moving. I like it back when, they would, especially the good ones, would stay put for a while and you could, again, kind of get invested in the team. But I digress. And that would be way too hard for me to fix here. So that one, I just have to deal with it. Bear with me while I fix my players here. All right, so Drury's up, 1 out, nobody on. Marquez gave up 30 bombs. Again, a lot of Colorado probably helped with that. 5-11, that's a single check. We got a 12 you need, and he rolled a 13, so I'll change these out sometimes, but we'll call that one a pop out to 6. So Iglesias waves everybody off and squeezes it for out number 2. That brings up Joey Votto, batting cleanup. Had a pretty rough year last year. See if he can do better in the replay. 4-10 is a lefty, and that's going to be a single on the ballpark check. So Votto, no chance, no threat to steal. Crone will play behind him at first. That brings up Pham, Tommy Pham, another one that the Reds lost last year, who played most of his time with the Reds, so he will be here the whole year. Let's see, where did he end up going? He ended up going to Boston, and he's with the Mets this year. So again, it's just crazy, all the changing. So anyway, 2 out. Votto on first. Marquez looks into Diaz for the sign, and here's the pitch to Tommy. 1-6, and he whips. So that'll do it for the Reds, but they do get a run on a couple hits. Go to the top of the second. 1-0 Cincinnati Reds. Ryan McMahon will lead off here for the Rockies. Looks like he had a pretty good year last year. Left-handed hitter. That's a 3-9, and he strikes out. 1 away. So those of you who are still a little unhappy about modern baseball, again, I thought about trying to do some kind of home brewed rule with the strikeouts, but that's just too much work. So we'll let it ride. 6-3, and that's a left field X. Pham is an impressive 4 out there. See if he can get to this one. The chances are not with him. Oh, he gets a 20, though, so he'll get to it. And he got an 11. His E rating is 8. And 11 is a clean play. So nice play by Pham. He will track that one down for first out of the inning. Second out of the inning, rather. That brings up the center fielder, Randall Grichuk. 2 out, nobody on. 4-9, and he is going to whiff. So that'll be the second strikeout of the day for Castilla. Rockies go in order. We go to the bottom of the second. 1-0 Cincinnati Reds. Tyler Stevenson, the Reds catcher, who had a pretty good offensive year, 319, just in 166 at-bats. Oddly enough, he was the catcher with the most at-bats for the Reds, so he's going to get quite a bit more than that here in my replay. All right, we get back to my game here. Okay, Tyler Stevenson, righty versus righty. Herman Marquez is a 3 right, so he's a little better versus righties. 5-6, and that's a fly ball out to right field. Hit pretty hard, but Blackman will get to it for out number 1. Nick Senzel playing center field today for the Reds. That's a 4-5, and he's a shortstop X. And Iglesias is a 3-12, as we've already discovered. And so a 20, he'll get to it. Oh, he knocks it down to a 7. That's he's a 3, so that's still, he's going to be able to get to it because there's nobody. He's not, if he's helping hold on somebody, he wouldn't. And he's got a 12, and he gets an 11. So a 12 and an 11 is a good play. So nice defensive play by Iglesias. 6-3. That's 2 out here for Kyle Farmer, who I believe the only Red who had over 400 at bats last year. He had 526, so he's playing shortstop today. 1-5 versus a righty, and he strikes out. Strikeout number 2 of the day for Marquez, and that'll do it for the Reds as they go in order. We've got 2 in the books here at Great American Park. 1-0 Cincinnati. All right, Luis Castillo on for his 3rd inning of work. We'll start off with Iglesias, the shortstop. He hit 292. That's a pretty good average for their averages they had last year. 310's a ballpark check, single check. Need a 12, got an 18. So we'll say that one's a ground out to third. So I'll just switch those outs up some a little bit. One away. Again, when you don't get the ballpark check, it's a pop-up to whatever side of the infield they hit. But in the computer game, when I'm having the computer roll the dice and help me with the inputs, I have it change up the out. So I'll do that. So Elias Diaz, the Colorado catcher, is up. 4-5, and that's trouble. That's going to be a double. So he lines that one down the third base line. Drury not able to get to it. It bounces around in the Great American Ballpark left field corner, and Pham will finally track it down. Diaz, who doesn't have great speed, will get into second standing. All right. So let me fix this. All right, so we got one out, and that brings up the pitcher. So again, he's a C bunter, so he'll be a B. I've never been a big fan of trying to butt somebody to third, and that would be the second out anyway, so sacrifice wouldn't help. So we'll go ahead and let Marquis hit away. Again, he drew a 1 on the pitcher's card today. You never know, 1-4, but he will proceed to strike out. Strikeout number 3 of the day for Castilla, and that brings on Blackman. Charlie Blackman has singled in his first at bat. He is a clutch hitter. His 2-7 and 3-7 turned to singles, so we could walk him. Castilla is even versus lefties and righties. Let's see, Daza, his clutch hit. He's not much of his 1-2 and 3-12 turned to outs, but those aren't in real prominent positions. Blackman's a good hitter. I think we'll go ahead and we're going to do the intentional walk. So we will put, and he has to throw the pitches here. None of this say we're going to do it. So he throws 4 to Stevenson, and they are all successful. So Blackman's on at first, and that brings up Jonathan Daza. He grounded out to double play his last time, so we got runners on first and second, 2 out. Big at bat here for both teams. The Rockies are down by 1, 2-8, and that's hit hard, but right at the shortstop. So out, stay, 6-3. So Daza comes up empty in the clutch, and Castilla is able to hold on to that 1-0 lead, and we go to the bottom of the third, 1-0 Cincinnati. Castilla will lead off, and again he drew a 5, I think, right? Yeah. He drew a 5, so good chance for him to do something here. Heroes on the pitcher's card, of course, so 4-7, and he will strike out. 1 away. TJ Friel, he tripled and scored to lead off the Reds' first inning. 4-10, that's a ballpark check. He rolled a 1, so he will be on for the second time today. Friedel's a pretty good hand to steal. Marquis holds at a -1. Diaz has a -1 arm, so we're going to try. And again, we have to roll our 20 here. Now, I keep forgetting to roll the 20 for the pass ball and the wild pitch too, so I got to keep remembering to do that in the bulk. Okay, so that's good. He got a lead, so 18. He's being held. Knocks him down to 16. -2 on the pitcher and catcher, so that's 14. So 14, and he'll be safe. And he gets an 8, so he's in safe for the stolen base. Oop. Oh, crap. Went past it. Stolen base, stolen base, stolen base. There we go. Nope. Okay, so they're not going to hold him on at second. He's got a 50% chance if he can get a lead, but I think we'll hold out there. He runs it at 14, so that brings up India, who grounded out, dove in Friedel. See if he can knock him in again here. 3-6, and he strikes out. Not what he wanted to do there. So that's 2 away. That brings up Drury. This is a tough situation. Got Votto on deck, but he's a lefty, so I think we're going to take our chances with Drury here. He's a little bit of not a clutch hitter. He popped out in his last at bat, so 2 out. Friedel on second. We get a 2-11, and that's a slow roller to first. First baseman will take it to the bag himself, and that'll do it for the Reds. So we still have a 1-0 ball game. All right, Luis Castillo on for his 4th inning of work. We'll start off with Crone, first baseman. Crone flew out in his first at bat. 4-8, and that's going to be a walk. So that's the second walk issued by Castillo today. Crone is not a threat to steal, so Votto will play behind him. Brings up Ryan McMahon. Struck out in his first at bat. Let's see, he would be a C-bunner. He's like their cleanup guy, so we're not going to do that. Looks like he will swing away. Lefty versus righty. 4-10. That's a ballpark check. Needs a 12. Got a 15. So we'll call that a pop out. To the second baseman. India calls for it. Squeezes it for the first out of the inning. So a big out there for Castillo. That brings Brendan Rodgers to the plate. Again, you guys can see their stats for the year. They're on the scoreboard on the upper right-hand corner. So Rodgers, for those of you who aren't familiar with this year, Rodgers will take a crack here. 1 out. See, his hit and run would be a B, but we're going to let him hit away. 1-12, and that's a hit by pitch plus an injury. So Brendan Rodgers is hit, and he is injured. So we roll on our super advanced injury chart. Let's see. He had 527 at bats. So the most he can be injured is 15 games. Oh, 17. That's not good. That's only 8 games. All right, so Brendan Rodgers, who is playing second base, will be injured for 8 games. So I got to keep track of this. All right, Brendan Rodgers, second base for Colorado, is out for 8 games. So we got to get a pinch hitter for him. Let's see who their second baseman might be. It's like Garrett Hampson. Yep, Garrett Hampson it is. So Rodgers is going to be injured. Turn his card around so I remember that. Garrett Hampson will pinch run. Let's see, they're the visitors. Garrett Hampson will pinch run for Rodgers. All right. So that brings up Randall Grichuk. 1 out. Runners on first and second. Hampson's a good 17 out there at first base. All right. Castillo looking to get out of a pickle here. 6-3. That's a left field X. Again, Pham is not a good fielder at a 4 out there. So that could not bode well for the Reds here in this inning. That's not good. 4-4. It's going to be a double. He's an 8. Ooh, it's even worse. He got a 17. And that's a 2-base error. So how about that? That's going to be a double and a 2-base error, and that's going to empty the bases. So Pham's defense is going to end up costing them 3 runs. So double plus error. So Grichuk score. Everybody scores. The fielder is left fielder. And the Rockies are up 3-1. All right, so Jose Iglesias up with 1 out. Bases cleared now, thanks to Pham's defensive prowess out there. That's a 2-4, and that is deep, and it is gone. Got all that one. Pham couldn't even make an attempt at that one, and it is now 4-0. So the Reds bullpen will get up and running because Castillo's in a bit of trouble here. So with the fatigue, I believe you have to have 5. So again, I'm still figuring out you know, how to play without the aid of the computer. So if a starter gives up 5 runs in 1 inning, 6 runs in 2 innings. So one more run and he will be fatigued. So he's got Diaz. Again, we will see if he can get out of this pickle here, because all of this isn't him. 1-4, and that's bounced back to the box. 1, 2, 3. That's the second out of the inning. So that brings up Marquez, pitcher. He struck out in his first effort of the game. 5-6, and he strikes out in his second effort of the game. So, all right, so second baseman, that would be Hampson, will go in, stay in the game to play second for the Rockies. And we got 4, 5, and 6 due up for the Reds here in the bottom of the 4th. All right, Marquez been given a 3-run lead. We'll start with Votto, who singled in his last at bat. 6-3, that's a left field X. Daza is a 210, so not a great E rating. So an 8-2, he'll get to it. A 10 with a 12. 10 E rating and a 12 is good. So nice play by Daza out there, out number 1. Votto goes the other way, but Daza able to get to it for 1 away. Tommy Pham trying to atone for his defensive inability will step to the plate next. 5-9, and that's hit hard to short. Iglesias sets and throws, 2 away. Tyler Stevenson flew out in his first at-bat. 6-5, and he strikes out in his second. So that'll do it as the Reds go in order. Marquez takes care of business. We go to the 5th. Rockies up 4-1. Castillo seeing if he can settle down and get back in a rhythm here to kind of keep the deficit to 3 as the top of the lineups is up for the Rockies. Charlie Blackmon is 1 for 1 with a walk, an intentional walk. 6-7, and that's a fly ball out to left field as he slaps it the other way. Pham will get to this one, 1 away. Jonathan Daza, 0 for 2. 1-8, and he strikes out. Strikeout number 5 of the day for Castillo. C.J. Cron flew out, has flown out and walked and scored a run. 3-6, and that's going to be slapped for a single. No threat to steal, so Votto will play behind him, and that brings up Ryan McMahon. Struck out and pop out. Reds still have the bullpen up and ready just in case. 2-9, but he will strike out on the high heat. So Castillo recovers and has a good 5th. We go to the bottom of the 5th, still 4-1 Rockies. Got Senzel, 7, 8, 9 due up here for the Reds. Senzel is grounded out. His only at bat today. That's a 4-8. He will ground again to third. McMahon will get to it. Out number 1. Kyle Farmer, he struck out. Let's see. Marquez has 5 strikeouts today. 3-7, and that's lofted out to center field. Good Chuck, who is patrolling out there, will get it for out number 2. And the Reds are going to let Castillo hit as we're only in the 5th inning here. See if he can maybe hold on and get that win. So 6-7, that's a second base X. That's Hampson, newly into the game, is a 321. 17, so he will get to it. A 21 with a 12. 21 with a 12 is a good play. So nice defensive play to the new second baseman. That'll do it for the Reds as they go in order. So Marquez is taking care of business. Castillo on for inning number 6 with a 3-run deficit, seeing if he can hold on to it. So Hampson, again freshly into the game, will get his first at bat of today. That's a 3-8. He strikes out. One away. Strikeout number 7 for Castilla today. Randall Grichuk struck out, and he hit that ball out to Pham for a double and a 2-base error that emptied the bases. 6-7, and he strikes out. Castilla throwing some gas. He struck out 8 on the day. Jose Iglesias, 2 out, nobody on. 4-5, and that's going to be trouble. Iglesias parts Senzel and Pham in left center field. Senzel's able to cut it off, but not before Iglesias, who runs at a 13, slides into second with a double. So that brings up Diaz, so we'll intentionally walk him to get to the pitcher. All right, so that brings up Marquez. Again, he drew a 1-hitting card today. Three, 6, and that's hit hard, but right down to short. Out. Stay. 6-3. So the Rockies are retired without scoring for the second inning in a row, as Castilla has recovered from that not so great fourth. We go to the bottom of the 6th. 4-1 Colorado Rockies. So Marquez has a 6, so again he'll have an 8. So again our fatigue ratings are a bit more 60s style here. So I like it. Friedel, top of the order. We'll see if they can get to Marquez, who's given up just 3 hits and 1 run. 2-6, and he's hit by a pitch. You can't help but wonder if maybe that's in retaliation. So Friedel, decent chance to steal. But with us down by 3, I think we'll go ahead and see if we can get a big inning here. So they're holding him on nevertheless. India is grounded out with an RBI and struck out. 4-9, 1-16's a single, and that's a 1-star single. So the Reds get their first 2 runners on. That'll get the Rocky bullpen up. I always keep baseball reference up. Invaluable tool when you're trying to do these kind of replays, especially if you're not familiar with the teams and the players. So especially it shows you like the bullpen and how they were used. So it looks like Daniel Bard was 34 saves, 171.9 ERA. That's pretty impressive for anybody, especially when you play in Colorado. So we'll see what Marquez. Of course, Marquez isn't that great of a pitcher. It's a little early for Bard, but again, I can be unconventional. But we'll see. We'll let him face Drury here. Again, tying run at the plate. So see if Marquez can get out of his trouble. 1-10, 12, and that is gone. So he did not. So Drury ties it up, and we are knotted at 4. Hit that one down the line. Only question was whether it would stay fair or not, and it did. And we have a tie ball game at 4. All right, so Marquez, he'll stay in for the time being. Other than Bard, they really don't have that great of a bullpen. Carlos Estevez wasn't too bad. So let's see what Marquez can do here with Votto. Again, you know, this is 1960 baseball. They're not going to pull, most of the time, they're not going to pull a guy who's pitching a good game out of, the 6th inning. Now, if this had been the 8th, maybe, but 3-4, and that's hit back to the box. 1-3. That's the first out of the inning. So that brings up Pham, who was struck out and grounded out. 1-5, and he strikes out. So Marquez trying to pull himself together after giving up that 3-run homer. Well, focus his attention on Tyler Stevenson, who is 0 for 2. 2 out, nobody on. 6-4. That's a catcher's card X. Diaz is a 3-3. This will probably be an out with no runners on base. So a 5-3 is a PP. A 14 with a 3. And that's a good play. So a PP with a good play. Batter pops out to the catcher. So that's popped up in foul ground. Diaz will call for it. That'll do it for the Reds. But they tie it up with a 3-run long shot. We go to the top of the 7th. Now knotted at 4. So Castillo with a chance to win this thing. See if he can bear down and get to top of the order here with Blackman, who is 1 for 2 with an intentional walk. 6-3. That's a left field X. Oh no, we know we know how that can work out. Let's see if Pham can do better. An 11-4, and that's going to be a single. We get a 10 with the 8. So no error this time, so that'll just drop for a single. They get the leadoff hitter on. Down by 1. Let's see if he can. If he gets a 3, he'll get a lead. And he gets a 3. How about that? So a 16. They're holding him a 14. Add 1 for Castillo's a 15. So 1-15, and he's in with a stolen base, and he is in. Not going to hold him at second. So the tie or the go-ahead run on second, that brings up Daza. So he would be a C bunter. The Reds aren't thinking. They're back. So this could be a chance to pull a sneaky. He's going to try. This is a little risky, but let's see if he can get the butt down. So he's a C. And we get a 6 on a C. That's the defense. Let's see. Batter drops down a bunt. The defense has the option for throwing the batter out at first or trying to throw the lead runner out. Compute the lead runner safe as running -4. Ooh, that's an 8. Plus the fielder's defensive rating. And so it was hit to the first baseman, so that's 4. So that would give him a 12. So a 12, and he would be safe where we get the sure out at first. Well, that's a tough one, isn't it? We're early enough in the game. We don't want a big inning. So I think we're going to go ahead and get the sure out here. So that's going to be a sack bunt. That was Votto to India. That'll put the go-ahead run on third base for C.J. Cron. Now do we play the infield in? I think they're going to. We're going to see if we can cut off that run. We've got the 1 out. So let's see. So Cron, the infield is in. 2-4. And that's a fly ball to left question mark. So on the question mark, you see he's a 12. Get +2. Pham's arms is 0, so 1-14, and he scores. I think plus is +2. Hold on just a second. Let me just double check that. Yep, it's +2. So that would be a 1-14. So they're gonna take that chance. So 1-14, 16. So Pham guns him down at the plate. How about that? So fly out. Backman at third is out. 7-2. So Pham making up a little bit for that boo-boo back in the 4th. Guns down. Blackman at the plate to end the 7th. So 7th inning stretch time. Looks like we had an error loading our trivia question. So we go to the bottom of the 7th. Marquez, again, his fatigue rating would be 8 now. So we are bottom of the 7th, so his fatigue doesn't start till next inning. 4-4. All right, Nick Senzel will lead off here. The Rockies do have the bullpen up and running. Senzel's grounded out twice. 1-6, and he grounds out for the third time as he bounces it to short, and Glacius sets and throws. One away. Brings up Kyle Farmer. Shortstop extraordinaire is 0 for 2. 5-7. 1-9's a double, and he proceeds to get a 1. So he will hit his first double of the season as he lines that to right center field. Grichuk will cut it off. Farmer will slide into second, the tag, and he's safe. All right, so now we get the interesting part. I think we about have to pinch hit here. Let's see what they got in the bullpen as far as lefties and righties. Looks like they've got Freeland, who's a starter. Gilbreth is the lefty they have in the bullpen. A lot of their righties are good against lefties. I don't know. Let's see. Let's go ahead and see what we got on the bench here. So we got Fraley. Very good against righties. You got Moustakis. The only two lefties we have on the bench. Go with Fraley. So one thing I am doing is saying that if you bring in a relief pitcher, that you do have to do the 3 innings, or at least the 3 batters. I always thought that was a good rule. When you bring in 4 relief pitchers and 4 at bats, that's annoying. So I am going with that one. Because back in the old days, they just wouldn't do that. They didn't need a rule for it back in the 60s, because if you came in, they would expect you to get more than 1 man out. But obviously with the way things changed, so again, I like that rule. All right, so we got Fraley. Step up to the plate with the go-ahead run on at second and Farmer. Let's see, now they could go, got Friedel up next, and then India. So it might make sense for them to bring in that lefty. I think that's what they're going to do. All right, so they're going to bring in Gilbreth to relieve. So that'll see what that does for. So good game by, decent game by Marquez. Brendan Rodgers is hurt. So again, we got the only lefty in the Rockies bullpen. Find him. There he is, Lucas Gilbreth. Fraley, 1 out. Farmer on at second. Fraley struggles against lefties. See if he can pull this one out. 4-8, and he draws a walk. So how about that? Not what Gilbreth wanted to do. So that brings up Friedel. 2 for 2 with a triple single and hit by a pitch. He is lefty versus lefties, so we could pinch hit for him. See, he's the right fielder. Got a Keno. Again, Gilbreth will have to pitch to him because this is just his second batter. And Almora Jr. Not that great. He's a little better versus lefties, but not enough to make it worth your time, I don't think. Let's go ahead and stick with Friedel here and see what he can do. 1 out, runners on first and second. Go ahead run and Farmer at second base. 5-10, and he strikes out. So that's good job by Gilbreth there. So that brings on India. Clutch time here. He is 1 for 3 with RBI today. 5-4, and he draws a walk. So that'll load the bases for Drury. Now he's faced his 3, so they can bring in a different pitcher. So I tell you what, this probably would be a good time for Bard. He's the best they got. So they're going to go with Bard here. Again, going against conventional wisdom. They're going to bring in their best pitcher when they need him the most. So that's it for Galbraith. Not a great job. but it could be salvaged, perhaps. All right. Looking for Bard. Daniel Bard, again, he was 6-4, 34 saves, 179 ERA. He will face Drury. Drury is, he had that big 3-run bomb back in the 6th to tie it up. Looking for some of the same stuff here. Bases loaded, 2 outs. 6-11, that's a right field X. And Blackman's a 4 out there. This is where he would prefer to be DHing. We'll see if his defense hurts him. Get our X chart. All right, he's a 4. And he gets a 7 and a 4 is a 2-star single. He's a 14 and a 15. And right, 14 with a 15. See, he's a 14. We rolled a 15, so no error. So that's just going to be a 2-star single. So how about that? So Drury goes to first. India will go to third. Fraley will score from second. And Farmer scores from third. And the Reds go up 6-4. So not what they wanted from Bard there. Again, Blackman's defense hurt him. So that brings up Votto, seeing if he can add insult to injury here. It's a 2-11, and that's a ballpark home run check. And we have 1-20 here, and so he has gone deep. 3-run bomb for Joey Votto. 9-4 Reds. So that is... And so, see, Bard, I think he had 4 of those runs. All right, so he'll see if he can get this last out here. 2-8, he walks. All right, again, so this is just his first inning, so he has a 2 relief pitch inning. And I kind of do it, I probably need to do a little research on this, but I do it like a starter, so it's his inning. So he has to give up 5 runs this inning to be tired. So we're going to go ahead and just let him hang with it here. 5-4, that's a third base X. McMahon's a 121. So we know he'll get to it. A 21 at third. The 7, and that'd be a good play. So that'll do it. Stevenson's out. Stay 5-3. All right. The Reds will go to their bullpen here. So Castilla will hang on for the win if the Reds can get these final 8 outs. Let's see what the Reds bullpen looks like. So they're up by 5, so we don't need their best right now. Of course, it's like Alexis Diaz was their closer for most of the season, and he was pretty good. Now, the rest of them were kind of iffy. Let's see what they got coming up. Left, and then a lot of righties. Let's go with Hunter Strickland. See if Friedel makes any more sense. Yeah, he does. So we'll put Fraley in at left, because he's much better than Pham. And then we'll put Strickland in the 5th position where Pham was. We'll be pitching, of course. All right. A little better defensive outfield that way. All right, so that's it for Castilla. Not the greatest day, but he can pick up the win here if the bullpen can hang on for him. And so we brought in Strickland. See, and again, not a great pitcher, 497, but he was one of their most used relievers. So we'll see if he can get McMahon here out to start the 8th. 5-6, and he strikes him out. So how about that? Out number 1. Brings up Garrett Hampson, again to play second after the injury to the starter at second. 1-8 versus righty, and he strikes out. So Strickland coming in like he's Nolan Ryan. Strikes out the first 2, and that Be Randall Grichuk. 5-3. That's a right field X. Friedel is a 3-3 out there. So 15, and he'll get to it. We got a 6 with a 3. And he makes no errors, so good defensive play by Friedel. That'll do it for the Rockies in the 8th. So I think we're going to get Bard out of there. Again, we don't want to wear him out when he's not needed, so let's see what else the Rockies have to offer as far as relievers here. See, the Reds have mostly righties, at least start and 2 lefties. Let's try, see, it looks like Alex Colome. Try him. So he'll come in and he will take the pitcher spot. So that's it for Bard. Again, he had a really good year, but roughed up pretty good there. So let's find Alex Colome on for his first start of the year, obviously. Our first appearance of the year. He'll start with Zenzel. He's grounded out 3 times today and 3 at-bats. 6-7, and he doubles to center field. So he hits that over Grichuk's head. 1 hops the wall, and Zenzel in standing with a double. Kyle Farmer is 0 for 2 with a double. 2-12. And that's lined out to short. Zenzel is caught too far off the bag, and Iglesias throws him out. Yep, line out to short, Max. So he's out. So 6-4 on the double play. And that'll empty the bases for Fraley. Again, he pinched hit and stayed in to play left for Pham, who obviously we've seen what he can do out there defensively. Yep. I think the tower will be in business here. 3-4, and that is hit deep. And that one is way up there in the stands in right field. He got all of that one. And it is 10-4 Cincinnati. No doubt about that one. Colon put a fastball right in the heart of the plate, and he turned on it, and it is gone. So Friedel, 2 for 3 with a triple. 2-9, and he will proceed to strike out. So that'll do it for the Reds in the bottom of the 8th. We go to the top of the 9th. They are enjoying a 6-run lead. So we'll see if Hunter Strickland can finish this. Again, he's a 1, and with my rules, he's a 2. So this will be his inning of fatigue. You need 3, I think, runners on. So you start out with Iglesias. 2-6, and that's lofted out to left field. Fraley just hit that bomb. Get to it for out number 1. Brings up the catcher, Elias Diaz. He is doubled and intentionally walked today. 6-8, and that's hit out to left field. Hit on a line, but Fraley right there to put it away for out number 2. So that brings up the pitcher spot. The Rockies will go to their bench, so they need a lefty. So it looks like it's going to be Mr. Hilliard. Sam Hilliard will grab a bat. He is all that stands between the Rockies and defeat here with 2 outs in the 9th. Five, and he swings and he misses. And that'll do it for opening day in the Replay Gamer National League. The Reds win this one 10-4 as they get the season opener like they're supposed to. And so there you have it. So I hope you enjoyed that. Again, I've played a few games of this. This is the first one that kind of counts. And so, again, the strikeouts aren't really bothering me that bad with me being able to use the bullpen like I think they should. Again, Castilla never would have got this win, in modern baseball, but with him, us letting him go a little deeper and then him settling down. And, so he ended up 7 innings, giving up 4 runs, but he pitched and got the win. And so that's the kind of baseball I enjoy, Um, so, again, um, I've been doing this. I enjoy it. Whether again, who knows how long I'll stick with it. But it's a fun project, and so far I'm enjoying it. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Again, this is something a little. Oops, I don't want that. A little unusual. Something a little different. I'm kind of enjoying, doing just the old school, figuring out everything by myself. Again, I was really rusty on that. Well, matter of fact, I think I forgot to do the 20-sided die rolls when the runners were on base. I remembered when I was trying to steal, I think, most of the time. But again, that's something I have to remember. So at least I forgot for both teams. So just trying to, get it down to where I'm playing it well. And so, but anyway, I just wanted to share this. I thought it was interesting, something different. Again, any questions or comments, feel free, and I'll see you next time.